never love walking anywhere with Mariel Hemingway. As you can tell.
You got us into chairs really quickly.
Okay, good. Well, it's great to see you.
Thank you.
You look fabulous every
Thank
time
you.
I see you. Last time, I guess it was in New York when we had dinner.
Yes.
You look great. And
Thank
so I want you to share with me and with everyone a typical week in your life when it comes to fitness, eating, spa treatments, beauty treatments.
Okay, here we go. A typical week or a typical day for myself and my partner, Bobby Williams, isn't really the norm, kind of. Our life is our lifestyle, and our lifestyle is our life. And what we do from moment to moment is really very, very important. From the moment we wake up in the morning, the first thoughts we think are very, very important. You know, what you program before you go to sleep at night, to what you think first thing in the morning, to the first, breaths that you take. So breathing in the morning is very, very important. So we lie in bed and we actually do some exercises that help move the body, because oftentimes, our blood pools at night, and so, energy gets locked up. And if you move your body, you actually move that energy through the body. And so that's a very important thing that we do. So breathing, thinking gracious, thoughts of gratitude, thinking about our day and the way that we'd like to see it be. That's one of the things that we do. Once we get out of bed, which is usually very, very early, we try to go see as many sunrises as we possibly can. Bobby and I are the belief that, sun is healing. Vitamin D is very healing, and there's all that, I know you're in the spa industry and skin is really important and don't get sun and all this stuff. I think sun is very important. Obviously, the heat of the sun at the middle of the day is not good for your skin, but first light and last light of the day is actually very good for you, and it helps with it helps balance your endocrine system. It does all kinds of wonderful things. So we tend to go and watch a sunrise. Bobby tends to, and I just bring him in because he is my life now. We are together. So he tends to do more kind of Shaolin monk stuff. I tend to do more yoga. So I will, at a sunrise, do more yogic sort of breathing, yoga movement.
You said shell and monk?
Shaolin monk.
Oh.
Shaolin.
Oh.
Shaolin. Shaolin monk, it's a martial art, but it's also, it's a monk Buddhist sort of, not Buddhist, sorry, I'm gonna get this wrong. Bobby's gonna be like, whatever. Anyway. So he does exercises that are much more sort of martial arts, and he's the male. We have a company called The Willing Way. He's the male, I'm the female, and I definitely do more soft, feminine sort of warming up the body. So that's all within before breakfast. And drinking water is incredibly important to us. Like, where is your water coming from? We've put a whole water system, filter system in our house, which I'm sure all of you with spas really are very conscious of the water that not only people drink, but the water that people absorb. Our bodies, our skin is the most absorbent organ in our body. So you really want to make sure that your water is quality water, because you want those cells. In fact, we just now put in a pool. We've got a pool, and we just had it converted to a saltwater pool, but a very specific saltwater pool that has a filter system that actually energizes the water. So we put the many, many pounds of salt into the water, but a very specific salt. This filter energizes that salt, which creates total vitality to the body. We've just gotten it, and apparently, and you'll all like this, we don't know this, we haven't seen it yet because it really is very new in our lives, because the saltwater pool hasn't been activated enough, according to the scientists that we've been working with. But apparently, one of the side effects of vitality of this saltwater pool is that you're supposed to be wrinkle-free. after being in it for 20 minutes. We don't know if that's true. It hasn't happened yet, but we're working on it. So we have great hopes for this pool to be like the incredible, and if we come back next year and we're all like, we look 12, you'll all be wanting one.
That would be an innovation that our industry would be very interested in.
Well, one of the reason why I kind of bring these things up, we look for technology that is not invasive. We love nature. Our life is about nature. My life is about nature. That's where we connect. We love the outdoors. We love, when I talk about sunrise and sunsets, those are the things that make our connection to nature makes us healthy. And we can be more vital and more youthful and more happy and more healthy by connecting in nature. So when you find those technologies that are technologies and in science, and you connect them with the normal everyday things that we all can do, it's a powerful combination of how we get healthier. So have I made it even to breakfast yet?
I was going to say, we're not even at breakfast and I'm overwhelmed. Tell us a little bit about your eating regime.
Well, I am the girl who has tried everything. I've been macrobiotic, I've been vegan, I was completely raw one year, stinky year. I ate nothing but fruit and drank organic coffee, but it was organic, so it was okay that I was overamped and wanted to kill my children. I've done pretty much everything and followed every guru, so I've eaten a lot of different ways, is what I'm trying to tell you, until I realized, very close to my age now, went, wow, there's not one size fits all, and not everybody has the answer to what's right for you. And you were talking about this incredible technology. There is a way that is right for each and every individual out here in the audience, and each one of your clients, and each patient, each person that's going out there. But it's not one size fits all. So I've finally come to, what's right for me isn't necessarily what's right for Bobby or my children, but what I do know is I eat ethically, and what I mean by that is that I don't eat abused animals. I don't eat animals that have been that aren't free range. I mean, we actually have chickens on our property, so we have our own eggs. We try to buy locally. I think things like that are very, very important. We go to farmers markets. We eat sustainably and organically. We have 6 biodynamic garden beds in our backyard. So we believe we want to inspire people to have a little bit of this, not necessarily all of it, because we're a little wacky. We are really inspired to do all of it, but we like to encourage people to do a little bit of it and think community. And what I love about this wellness community and spa and all this stuff, it's a community. And you have the voice to be able to help people understand that the more that they link up with their friends, their family, their neighbors to do healthful things so that they can take that practice into their lives. Because it's not about just going to a spa, though we love that, and I love that, and I think that's very, very important. It's one of the things that I want to inspire people to do is take care of themselves, because that there's still guilt around that, like, oh, if I go to a spa, it's not a good thing. But actually, that's a very good thing for you. You can't, if you don't take the oxygen for yourself, you take it first and then you give it to the child.
What kind of spa treatments do you do, and beauty treatments?
I get facials. I think that's a really, not only probably once a month. I'd like to do it more often. My girl's always saying, why don't you do it once a week? And obviously got too much sun, and I don't need all you experts out there to say anything to me. So I do get facials. I love massage. I love the power of touch. I mean, when I was working with you and SpaFinder, and just the fact that people don't get touched in this society anymore, I think is really sad. And I think that longing to be comforted and touched, it goes back to our being babies. We want that touch, and it's very, very important. So I think massage is just such a powerful tool. And it's kind of like eating. It's like whatever turns you on, whatever kind of massage really speaks to your soul. I think that's what's really important.
Well, all I can say is whatever you're doing, it is working. So let's talk for a minute. We all know about your famous grandfather,
Yes.
Ernest Hemingway. And obviously he's, probably the most famous writer. And I know that you've written, what, 2 books?
3 books.
3 books. So,
Actually, 4 books. Bobby and I have written a 4th book that's not out yet.
Oh, okay. Well, I'd like you to tell us what you have written, and I have read one of them and looked at the others, and also tell us a little bit about how does it feel to have a grandfather that's such a famous writer, and now you're going to write a book.
Yeah. Yeah. Hence, I write self-help. Yeah, I had so much. When I wrote my first book, I wrote a book called Finding My Balance, which I actually think they have in the bookstore or whatever here. And it was, I wrote it like I wrote in a journal. I was writing my story. I was writing about yoga and how I saw yoga as it pertained to my own life. And I would just write it, and I was writing in my journal. And I sent these journal pages to a friend to like transcribe them. And then as it got closer and I realized that this was going to come out in a book, I was so terrified. I was so mortified. Like, who do you think you are? Like writing your journal and, whatever. Anyway, that was difficult. But I'm sticking with the self-help until I get the courage to have a pseudonym and then write something fictional.
Well, let me just say, that's the book that I read, Finding
nice.
Your Balance. And I thought, she's really a great writer.
Oh, thank you.
So there might be some, you would know
don't
this.
stop.
But truly, it was, and also I have to say, she's photographed in that book doing yoga. And this is a yoga master. I mean, the kind of yoga she was doing. So I do think that it's a book you'd want to get, and you'd enjoy reading it and seeing the photos. So I want to talk about mental health, because it's something that I'm so impressed with that you talk about openly, because we all know about the suicide of your grandfather, but what I didn't know is that there's a lot of that in your family.
Yes.
So would you mind sharing with us?
No, not at all. In fact, I think it's really important to talk about. I had a little table of lunch-going people the other day, and we were talking about mental health. And I come from 7 suicides that we know of, probably more. My grandfather committed suicide, his father committed suicide, my grandmother's father committed suicide, my great-uncle committed suicide, my uncle committed suicide, my sister committed suicide, and another cousin committed suicide. It's a powerful legacy to come from that kind of mental illness. It's just, on the one hand, Ernest Hemingway, the greatest writer of the 20th century. On the other hand, I'm terrified my entire life that I'm going to wake up one day and be bonkers, And that is why I sit here and I talk about wellness, because I think that lifestyle, the food you eat, the thoughts you think, the water you drink, the movement that you do, all that you do in your life has to do with your mental well-being, as well as your physical, emotional, and spiritual well-being. All those things go together. This year I was honored at McLean, which is the psychiatric hospital and school of Harvard University. They honored me. I said, "Are you honoring me for being crazy?" And they said, no, we just like that you speak out about this issue. And it was really, I had mixed feelings, because I'm very mixed on the whole, there's so many drugs being taken for depression and all these different things. Now, people that suffer schizophrenia, like my eldest sister, need drugs. They need lithium, they need their medication. But what is being ignored is somebody's lifestyle, what food they're eating, what they're doing, all these different things. These are being ignored, and it affects the mind. If you put an Advil in your body and 20 minutes later you don't have a headache, why doesn't somebody think that their food has the same effect on us? And it does. And it's a powerful statement. It doesn't mean you have to be a saint about everything, but having knowledge about food is power. And having knowledge about food is power for the brain, because our brain is so sensitive. Our brain eats first. It eats before the body eats. So having an understanding that all of this goes together and all of life goes together, meaning holistic living, is all about understanding all these elements of living.
Well, I'm speaking from the spa industry. I think it's exciting that someone is talking about not only the physical, but the mental. And so I really appreciate, and I think all of us do. I just have one last question. You've been involved now a little bit in spa and wellness, from an industry. And I'm just wondering if you could give us some advice, what you would suggest to those of us who either own or, a spa establishment or a wellness establishment, or somehow are working with, whether it's products or consulting with spas. Give us a little bit of advice from your experience.
I think the spa industry is really doing a magnificent job of creating this sense of, body, mind, spirit. I think it should just be done more. I think there's an element of food that is lacking in the spa. I think it's still a little bit slanted, or maybe it's not slanted that way, but the people's perception of it is that it's just all about pampering and luxury and, oh, if I had money, I could do that. I can't do that because I'm not a rich person, or whatever it is. But if there was more of a focus on the whole how you live all of your life, and even with the things you're talking about, I think that would be powerful. So.
Well,
yeah.
Mariel is going to sign, I think we're doing a book signing after the next couple sessions. And I just want to thank you for being here and being an advocate. And somebody mentioned about, the value of celebrity, and to have you as a spokesperson for health and wellness, we all benefit.
Thank you.
Thank you.